We're live. We're live and going strong. We've got lights on. We've got sound working. Let's get the other TikTok-y thing going on. Lots of comments today. It's going crazy, of course, as always. Another 30 followers. Let's see how many we can get while we're going live. No. Can I help with farm work jobs? Deary me. So people are joining. If you're joining, say hi. We are live on YouTube as well as here on TikTok. We might start going live on Facebook as well next month. Build up our Facebook following because God knows what's going on with TikTok and becoming Megatalk and Magatalk and all that kind of stuff. If anyone's got a question, I've got the topic set to spouse applications. People got queries about spouses, prospective marriage visas, any sort of issues with family streams. You can ask questions, but I'll take questions on general skills, state sponsorship, work visas, anything like that. Just changing the topic header, but anything migration will do. If you are going to text me, don't say hello, just ask your question. Don't expect me to give you a call. The best way to contact me is through the links in the bio. That way you get straight through to me. And here in Thailand, it is the last day of wet season, September 30, and it's pissing down, which is the other exciting thing. That Hua Hin, where I am, it is the driest place in Thailand, or the driest, not necessarily the driest place, but the driest region of Thailand, and we haven't had much rain at all. But today it's been thumping down, so there you go. But apart from that, I've got to, better turn that off. We've got no idea when Victoria will open because I don't have a crystal ball. Processing times, Sanjeep for the 190, mate, you're looking at close to 2 years. So we've just had a 189 round. I think we'll have another 189 round in about 6 weeks. All of the GSM processing is prioritised to 189. There's people coming in. They're going to process those 189s before they keep going with 190s. So at the moment, I think it says 15 to 22 months or something. Let's have a look. I think they might have updated the processing times for spouse visas. We can check. 15 to 19 months, but I think on the department's website they updated that today because I had a look earlier. So I had a look earlier at, no, 15 to 19 months. No, well, maybe they haven't. Maybe it was E&S. I don't know. 14, partner offshore, 14 to 24. That sounds the same as, why won't that stand up? Offshore. Are you there? What's going on? That's better. Offshore, 17 to 26. Well, that one's come in. That's into 14 to 24 months. So they've updated that one. Not a lot of other things. Has the 100 come in? The 100. Offshore partner, 9 to 19 months, still not. There's only that one that's come in. So while we're there, because someone's asking, the 190s are 17 to 25 months. But what's the department say? See if they've updated that one. The department says today 17 to 25 months. They haven't changed it. And we check 189s as well. While we're here, probably says 8 to 8 months point tested. Still hasn't changed. Maybe they'll update next week. It's only that 1 to 309 that's actually changed at the moment. Processing time for a 485 visa. I lodged on the 30th of July. I haven't got my visa yet. Nis Chow. Oh, you poor thing. Well, there's two different types, right? There's post-higher education. There's post-vocational. Slightly faster if you went to university, a week faster. 51 days to 30 days. Let's see if that's updated on the department's website, because it's the last day of the month. They normally update it on the Monday or the Tuesday, but anyway, let's have a quick look. Oh, there you go, 485, that's updated. It's saying 8 days to 3 months for post-higher education, and the other one, that hasn't changed at all, 48 days to 4 months. So if you went to university, you got the higher education one, that is now 8 days to 3 months. That's processing very quickly. 50% of cases within 8 days. Post-vocation on this, see, you did the wrong course. It'll come through. It'll come through, don't worry. So 48 days to 4 months. So the longer types are taking longer. July, August, September. You've only been 2 months. So you should get it this month. Myang, good evening. Can I ask one question? Well, that was it. That was it, your one question. How long does it take for a 600? The 600 is processed by local regions, right? If it's a 601 or a 651, the ETAs and the e-visas, they're sort of done by computers. But the 600 are processed by the regional centres, and I think on average it's about a month. But it varies a little bit between the different regional centres. Sir, what about 491? What about 407s? 491, let's have a quick look. If I'm going to spell 491, I'm numerically dyslexic. State sponsorship 491's 19 months to 25 months. It's a visa of last resort. You really don't want to be using that one if you've got any other alternative. Most people on that visa, most people have to have work. If you've got work, then get on a 482 visa. You'll have a real visa. You'll be able to travel overseas and go visit the folks and things like that. You won't be sitting in no man's land like you are on a 491 visa or on a bridging visa for a couple of years. Yeah, get better advice. Get better advice. We're going now. Everyone's joining in and saying hi. 407 Arsh. It's on a training visa. These were. Let's see if it's changed. 407 training visa was 8 months to 10 months. I mean, most people only need them for 6 to 12 months. You're stuck on a bridging visa. You basically got all your work experience before they've granted you the visa. Let's see if it's changed, if the timeframes have come in. 8 to 10 months, there's no change. So we're still waiting for an update there. Shintav, what are your thoughts on the graduate diploma of early childhood? Okay, so I'll do a bit of research today about early childhood to see what the employment opportunities are, because I'm thinking about doing some recruitment in one of those, in that field and other fields. So in childcare, there's like the childcare worker, and then there's the child, I don't know, I wouldn't say there's an educator, but there's also the pre-primary teacher or the early childhood teacher. The teachers need a degree, and the graduate diploma, well, obviously you've already got a degree somewhere. You've got a degree somewhere, and you're doing another sort of catch-up course or whatever. So that's all possible. Please do not spam the channel. All that will happen is you will get yourself banned. Tap to watch live. Right, I am watching live. Am I? We've got 52 people watching. If you're not a follower, follow. It's free. And of course, liking and gifting from Youssef. That's also good. That would be great. So in terms of early childhood, look, I don't think there's a pathway to permanent residence for it. When I say that, I mean a GSM pathway. You need 85 points. It's very difficult to get 85 points if you don't have any work experience. Even with superior English, the proper the proper age requirements and things like that. Australian study and regional study, you're really going to struggle to get to 85 points. So you really need work experience. So only do it if you want to work with kids, right? That's my, and you're probably going to be looking at least 4 or 5 years working in that environment. So if you're just doing it for a quick way to get into PR, there ain't no quick ways. Job Service Australia report released last week said that the average migrant coming through the student pathway is taking 4 to 6 years on from a degree, and from a VET program they're taking 7 to 8 years on average to get permanent residence. So no quick ways, right? Yes. Processing time for the 300 prospective marriage visa. Now, I don't recommend prospective marriage visas because you've got to wait 2 years to get someone into the country. It says 13 months to 27 months. I'll check out and see if it's faster on the government's website because they're supposed to update it by the end of the month, but they haven't for most of them. It says 12 months to 25 months, so that one's coming in a little bit as well. But, you know, if you've got to wait 2 years just to get married offshore. The better thing to do if you're not in Tasmania, Western Australia or Northern Territory is to sign a relationship register. Just lodge a spouse application. At least that way your relationship's registered and you can go about it. Scottish lad got his 190. Congratulations. That is excellent. You must be happy. What was the occupation type? Let us know. I know I'm behind in the chat. There is no spouses 500. JAT 22 hours is a subsequent entry. Same processing time as a student visa. It goes in the same queue. So it depends on the student pathway you're in. Yes. Oops. Get rid of that. Let's go through all these. Anup, you've been waiting 16 months, you'll be getting closer. Every day you get a little bit closer. Yusuf and Sashi sent me some roses, I appreciate that. Helps boost the channel up. I have a Class 5 New Zealand. What's the process of getting a HR or MC? So I know that when I did some light research on licensing for truck driving in Australia, it said that we do have some sort of reciprocal agreement with New Zealand, but all the states are different. So I was only looking at Western Australia, and I didn't really look into it because I wasn't expecting people from New Zealand to apply more, because most of the people were in the UK, and then lots of people in the Arab nations and that area and Africa. So. But essentially, what happens is, if you've got an overseas license, you can get the equivalent license without having to do the sort of 2 years at the lower level or a year at the lower level before you move up to, I think the rigid's the highest one, the rigid one at the top. Because there's like 200 countries, I don't know all of their licensing criteria and things like that. So. But basically, you can get the same kind of license as what you've got without having to do the wait time. But you still need to meet the other requirements, like you need to have, you need to do like Australian road rules. You probably need to be out, in some states you need to have some sort of first aid sort of certificate type thing. And road rules, what was the other thing? Oh, you need, and commercial drivers have to have medical, so you need to do a medical as well. So it's a bit of a process. It's not automatic. You don't just, it's not like your residential driver's license. You just go, hey, flick it over, and they print you one out and give it to you. You still have to go through a bit of rigmarole, but you don't need to go through a lot of rigmarole. So, but you can register truck driving in and get the information sheet in my link in bio. It doesn't matter, Anoop, it doesn't matter what you're currently on. You're in a queue for a 190, so 90% of the time you're queued. You're just in a queue waiting. Doesn't matter, they haven't even looked at your application, right? It's waiting to get to a case officer. So it doesn't matter what visa you're on or what your occupation is, or where you are for that matter. They just put you in a 190 queue, and when they get to you, they get to you. Michael Duffy followed the host. Thank you. Following's free, everyone. 42 people who are watching. Follow away. Liking is always good. You're on a 485 for hard in Brisbane with automotive engineering, trade course, or focus on the job. If you've got the job, I'd focus on the job. You need 12 months experience to get a 482. That's what I would do. Courses are bloody expensive, and the courses don't lead to PR, right? It's work experience which leads to PR. So focus on your work experience. At least that way, if you don't get PR, you'll have a job when you go home, right? Where is the pointer for 186 direct entry metro, please? The pointer. I don't know what you mean by that. Direct entry. I don't know what the question is. Mayang, how is the long march before is effect to all visa? Got no idea on that one either, Mayang. The long march. Are we talking about the march? Is it called the March for Australia on the 19th? I know. I see there's a second march that's being planned. It'll be interesting to see if more people turn up or if less people turn up or if it's the same people turning up. We've done subsequent entry visas, same processing time. Tashi's followed me. Maybe send me a DM, Tashi. Dana, the 820 partner visa is, there you go. 15 to 19 months is what it's taking. 115566. I'm driving for 2.5 years in Woolworths in Victoria, Australia Small. Is there any path? The delivery driver I saw yesterday is on a list for Dharma, and I don't know whereabouts you are in Victoria, but if we look at Dharma agreements and we look at drivers, so delivery drivers are not in Victoria, the Goldfields, Orana and Queensland. If you're a forklift driver, Far North Queensland, Goulburn, Kimberley, anywhere in the Northern Territory, or Orana. Log truck drivers are in regional South Australia. Taxi drivers are in Far North Queensland, which is Cairns, if you want to drive taxis around Cairns, the Kimberley or the Northern Territory. And truck drivers in Victoria is the South Coast, which is down at Warrnambool Way, and Goulburn, which is up Shepparton Way. So I don't know whereabouts in Victoria you are, but if you're based in either of those locations, you may be eligible as a truck driver. And if you're not in one of those, you can always leave Woolworths, or maybe get a transfer. Woolworths, the national company, obviously, get a transfer to one of those areas so you can get a Dharma pathway. Jackal 189 Carpenter. So if you download Aussie Visa, mate, which is my app right here, you'll have access to all this information. Carpenters. Carpenters 189, 415 applicants, 65 is the cut-off point. What can I say? Most states, Northern Territory doesn't want carpenters, neither does Tasmania, but everyone else did. So, bit of a chance for state, those are what points you need. Mahal has following me is good. Liking me is good, sharing me is good. Little gifts if you've got a question, a couple of points here. If it comes up and it says my fan or join my fan club or something like that, apparently that's a good thing. So I think it might cost you a cent. And I get 40% of that. Ooh. So I'm not getting rich out of it, but it pushes me up the ratings. Make sure it doesn't go backwards as well. 461, how long after medical do you get an answer? Well, it's how long is a piece of string. When they're processing visas, they're not constrained by any time constraints. It depends on what's happening with the case officer and how busy they are, and maybe you've got a case officer and it's a Christmas time and they go on annual leave for 4 weeks and nothing gets done with your application for that 4-week period. So look, just be thankful you've got a case officer. There's literally hundreds of thousands of people who are waiting for one, so you're one of the lucky few. Ashburn, hey mate, just wondering if the tribunal for the 482 training visa is getting the written hearing instead. I don't know. They haven't actually. I'm not sure if the legislation's passed yet, but it's a bill, right? So a bill is something that's being debated in the Parliament. They put these bills forward. You might hear, if you watch the budget, which is about the only thing anyone will probably watch, they call it the appropriation bill. So it's basically the legislation. Once the bill has been passed, that's when it becomes legislation after it's received royal assent, which, because, the King runs the show here, or at least the Governor-General does. So I don't know if they'll be getting written hearings. It would certainly look, there's a lot of cases where certainly like the department makes mistakes and you can just write to them and say, look, this is a blatant mistake. We provided the document and it wasn't there and they ignored it. I've got a case at the moment, they've asked for a document that already exists, and I was like, I checked the dates to make it was a police clearance. I'm like, it's the right country, it's his full name, it's got the right date on it. I mean, what are they asking me for? Really annoying. There's the thunder. So I don't know. It's kind of a good thing that they don't have to do it, but it might also have some negative effects as well. What's the processing time for 186 direct entry? Right. So now if you've got download Aussie Visa, mate, 186 direct entry, 12 to 18 months, and it hasn't changed because we just checked it earlier. There we go. These heart me's, Brigand Max, those joining my club things. That's great. Captain Z, I don't know what I don't do licensing, right? I don't do 200 countries and how they map to licensing in Australia and how they map to the 8 different licensing bodies in Australia. You'll need to investigate it with the state that you're moving to. James, does the 300 visa have to take, well, it doesn't have to take 2 years. On average, it's taking 12 months, but on a lot of people, it's taking 2 years. And it's completely, why? Just because, like, all that visa does is allows you to get married, you can come to Australia and get married. Then you have to apply again for a spouse visa and wait another year to get that one processed. And then to get your second stage, you need to wait another year and a half. I mean, the whole process is close to 5 years now. I mean, and some people it's longer than that, and some is like 10%. So that's like, 1,000 or 2,000 people applying for prospective marriage visas. It's taking them 5 years to get their wife or husband permanent residence. I mean, it's completely outrageous, and you're paying $10,000 for the privilege. I mean, Jesus. Lenny, that's my dream truck driver. Right. Okay, done that. Mr. Lee. I have 14 years truck driving experience, 12 in Africa, 3 in Poland. Any chance? You need yeah, you should register in the link in my bio. You get an information sheet, and you need 3 years truck driving experience. That's what the experience needs. They'll get you a skills assessment and the visa. You'll need to do a skills assessment. You'll need to then get an Australian license. So I'd assumed that Poland's part of Europe, so I'm assuming that the Polish license is probably recognised. I don't know about the Africa one, but you've got both. So, but certainly your experience, and if it's got to be the right kind of truck too, doesn't it? Not like a little 3-ton thing. It's got to be a big semi type thing, right? Angel, will I have problems when applying for PR if I have a gap of 1 month but have a job offer? Look, it's such a dodgy sort of thing. The legislation sort of says that you've got to hold the 482 visa for 2 years. And then so they're trying to sort of and then there's another thing saying that you've worked for 2 years, and the department's sort of saying that if you've had it for 2 years, we don't want you to apply for a visa just for a month, so that you can get so that you can then apply for ENS. So they're sort of fudging it, but when I looked at the legislation, which was a little while ago, but it was after they made the announcement, didn't look to me like it was legal. It just looked like they were making an announcement saying, look, we're going to put these through. They've done that before with certain things, and they got rejected when someone went to appeal and it got rejected for some reason. I can't remember what it was. It might have been on a police matter or something like that. What they're basically saying is that if it's up to a month, we're sort of going to let it go through, and we'll count your bridging visa while you wait. While you've applied for your 186. If it's more than a month, I don't think you do it. I think you need to apply for another work visa and go that way. When I lodged 482, like, it's a bit difficult now, different now, because you probably were on like a short term or a medium term, like a 2-year or 4-year visa. But now it's all under skills in demand. It's like 2, 3, or 4 for the training program. So I always get people 3 years, because if you have an accident or something and you can't work, you got unpaid leave. It's a pain in the ass. So and the company's supposed to pay for the training, so it's usually a minor cost. So that's what I recommend. I haven't had a client who's in that position. So yeah, but it's still, I'm not really okay with it. So I don't want to, I don't want to give advice and be wrong. So I can just say what the department's saying and say, Samik, when do you think New South Wales opening? Do you have more knowledge than I do? I don't have a clue. I don't think anyone has a clue. But if you know someone in New South Wales State Processing, maybe they'll let you know. Working as a plumber, how do you apply for Australia? So plumbers need to be licensed. You need to check out the licensing requirements for plumbers in Australia. You need to meet all the other requirements, and you would need a sponsor. So if you're not in Australia, you're probably going to find it hard to get a job as a plumber, but you want to make sure that you've got, if you don't have a qualification as a plumber, an apprenticeship or a trade qual, you went to trade school or something like that, you're going to need 4 years work experience. You're going to need IELTS 5, but you're going to need a job offer. So unless you know someone who's going to employ you, you're going to struggle. Mizuma, a 491 visa takes as long as it takes, but it's taking at the moment close to 2 years. So you're going to be waiting a long time. It's a bad visa to apply for. It's a visa of last resort, right? There's a long list of occupations which are on that particular path that aren't on any other path. And they aren't on any other path because they're not priorities, right? So you can imagine when there's, construction booms and mining booms and all the shortages of teachers and health professionals and things like that, if you're needed in a regional area as a secretary or some non-urgent job, then it's going to take them a long time to process you. Look, if they can't process these things within the year that you apply for them, I don't think they're worth applying for. I don't think they should run programs that take more than 12 months. I think it's completely outrageous. Viva. If I'm sponsored in one Dharma region, can I move to a job later down the line in another Dharma area? Well, if you're on the 482 Labor thing, then they just need to take over your nomination. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what the movement is for 494. I don't know if you've got options there or not. Happy to answer that question for 494, but 482 you can, but obviously you can't get a nomination unless it's in another Dharma area with that thing. The business would already have to be a sponsor and all that. You've only got to hang in there for 3 years. Do your best. Mr. Lee shared the life. Thank you very much. Packet Ghost. Processing time for 309. It's on Aussie Visa, mate. It's going to change probably tomorrow or the day after because they're due to update these times. 17 to 26 months for the 309 visa. Download Aussie Visa, mate. Keep up to date. John, when looking at 3 years post-qualification experience, does it have to be post-qualification? No. Just needs to be, if you're an accountant, say in England, you've done your Bachelor of Accounting over there, then and you've got a couple of years experience after you finished your qualification, well then those 2 years of experience will happen, and then when you come here and do your masters, the 2 years still count because they're post-qualification. They're not post the Australian qualification. But if you come into Australia, you've got maybe you came here as a kid, you've done your high school here, and then you go to trade school, so you've got no overseas qualification, then it'll be post the Australian. That's when it will be post the Australian qualification. Or if you've done your degree overseas and then you do a master's here, say you need a master's degree like in psychology to be qualified, then or to get registered, then even if you had experience post qualification back home until you're fully qualified in Australia, that's when that experience would count. Hope that's clear. Soda, I am taking questions. My name's Josh. Okay, well you got yourself banned, so that's easy enough to fix. Bye, Josh. You should change your nickname to my name's Muppet. There you go. Bye bye. Look, he's even looks like Kermit. You see, Kermit looks like Kermit. Anyway, we're not here for to be abused. Dearie me. We're full. Josh is one of those people who just drinks a lot of beer, sits back and abuses people. SK, 12 months, including both nomination, approval, and visa, or just nomination. It's the whole process, SK. Obviously, if you lodge it, as I said, you're always in a queue, right? So if you lodge them both together, you've only got one queue. If you lodge the nomination, and then wait till that gets granted, and then you do the visa, you're going to be in two queues. It's going to take you twice as long. Para Julia, currently on a bridging visa for subclass 500, but got invited for 189 visa as a registered nurse. Congratulations, Lodge. So I'm pretty sure that you can, certainly if you're on bridging visa A, B or C, I'm pretty sure that you can lodge your 189. You might have some difficulties if you've got a bridging visa E. I don't know, I'd have to look it up. But the 189, it's basically once you've been invited, they want you to apply. So make an application. So Tony Heron. I have to mute them as well to clear the. There we go. We got rid of Josh. After Section 56 processing time, well, there is none. You've got 28 days. You've got to respond within 28 days, and they will they will take their time and get back to you. So they're under no time frames, but you are. Unknown user, I was very lucky, got mine within 6 months, heading over in 4 weeks. Congratulations. That is good. Naz, 461, how long to wait for decision after a medical? I think we've answered that. I think the processing time for a 461 is about 6 months, and I don't know when you did your medical. If you did it at the start, well, it doesn't matter when. If they requested it, then 28 days, and they'll have a look. Then they might check out other things. Provisional 309 has granted. So how long to get the second stage granted? So the 100, if you're eligible, like if you've already waited 2 years, another 9 to 19 months, Rana. So get into the country, at least you'll be together, and get it lodged. What about post-UK qualification experience, but 1 year of that was in Australia, pre-Australian? Well, John, tell me what the occupation is, right? If you were qualified without the Australian qualification, then the experience counts. If you needed to do an Australian qualification to get qualified in Australia, then it won't count. No name, been 16 months. Oh, keep waiting. Bruno, fill in the form in the we're in League D1. How did we get there? We went up. Well, that's good. We might almost get to C. I don't know how many we're on. League D1. Oh no, maybe not. Okay, well we just got into League D1, but we dropped a couple of spots because I didn't go live over the weekend. But still pretty good. Bruno, the international truck driver. Go to my bio and fill in the truck driver information link there. You'll get sent documentation on how to do it. Does anyone else have any questions? Because we've run out. A 491 subsequent entry visas take the same time as a 491, so they're going to take 20 to 22 months. The average wait time, no, the average wait time, the average wait time is 17 to 25 months. So 17 months is 50%, that's the average, and 90% of cases are processed within 25 months. So 10% are still taking more than 2 years, which is like, you know, these are supposed to be occupations that the states want to build their economies and things like that. Rohit, after 2 Section 56 received and responded, same day processing time in 186 TRT, please. Well, mate, there's, as I keep saying, right, they're not under any obligation to complete processing in any time frame, right? So there's no answer to your question. So your overseas work experience, John, is going to count, right? Namaste from Naresh, just roughly. No name. I can't even remember. Was it 491? Jesus. 309. 309 partnering. There you go. 17 months for 50% of cases. It's been 16, so it might be October could be your lucky month, or it might take 26 months. So in which case, it won't be till August next year. So, Rooster. What do apply next after a 482 visa as a mechanic? So if you're on a 482 visa, 2 years after you've been on that visa, you're eligible for employer nomination in the Temporary Residence Transition Scheme, the TRT scheme. So, so if you've been working like from when you start, 2 years, like I know people are keen, but don't do it. You'll screw it up if you do it like exactly 2 years. Give it a week or two, right? So you can do the Temporary Residence Transition Scheme. If you've been in the job for 2 years, the only difference is you need IELTS 6 instead of IELTS 5. So you need a new IELTS test unless you're exempt because you're British, Irish, Canadian, Kiwi, or USA. So that's your pathway to PR. Mate, you're almost there. If you're on a 482, English is your only problem. Keeping your job for 2 years and then English, it's your only issue. And making sure that your employer doesn't go broke in the meantime because the economy is so bad, right? But depending on where you are. Naresh, you can register and get the information package, okay? Register, link in bio. Lath, do I need to apply for a bridging visa A after submitting? No. Bridging visas are issued by operation of law. Anyone who applies onshore for a visa automatically gets a bridging visa. So if you already have a visa, like you're a tourist or a student or something like that, or working holiday person, you get bridging visa A, the gold standard for bridging visas. And if you're currently on a bridging visa and you make a subsequent application, then let's say you've applied for a student visa and then you've applied for a partner visa, you'll get bridging visa C. Unless you've previously been unlawful and you're on bridging visa E, then you'll just get another bridging visa E. And the difference is bridging visa A takes across all of your benefits. So if you had work rights before, you'll have work rights on your bridging visa. If you didn't, because you're a tourist, you won't have work rights. And yes. But you don't need to apply for it. If you're going to travel overseas, you need to apply for bridging visa B. That one you do need to apply for. And if you want to vary your bridging visa, such as you don't have work rights and you want to obtain them, then you need to make a bridging visa another bridging visa application. Yes. Oh God, this is so funny. So my girlfriend's son, he wants to play Roblox with me. So, and he's like, "Can you play at 7 o'clock?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Can we play 7 till 9?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, radio." So we're playing Roblox. So I think we're playing. We were playing 99 Days in the Forest, which I quite liked. And now we're playing something about growing my garden, which is another sandpit thing. But anyway, a bit of fun. Let's get back to migration. Okay, we've done lathe, niche. You can't be far away, niche, but like, look, if they make a request, they still need to check it out. They still need to look at it. The case officer might have gone skiing in New Zealand for a month, right? So you don't know. You got a case officer, you're almost there, right? So just sit tight, you'll get there. Mr. Bister, why has everyone got Section 56 requirements? Your medical's completed. How long does it take? Guess what? It'll take a bit of time. Naresh wants to come to Australia like everyone else. Naresh, fill in the form and find out what's required. The information system tells you what you need for qualification, tells you the process, tells you what's going to cost, and and what the next steps are. So link in my bio, check it out. They've changed the processing times for partner visa recently. They don't change partner visa times. They update the website with what the average time is. They don't say, okay, we're gonna process this one in 12 months and we're gonna process this one in 2 years. They go, we've got 50,000 or spouse visas, we've got 95,000 of them. How long did it take us to get through 45,000? And it'll say like 17 months, right? And then how long did it take to get through 90% of those 95,000? Like how long did it take to get through 88,000 of them? And they'll say 26 months. So every month they do those calculations and they put them up on the department's website. So we know that the number of staff is not going to increase because the budget's been set, and we know that they've got their allocation for wages for the year, for the financial year. So if we get more than what they predict, the times drift out. If we get less than what they predict, well, that's not going to happen. But if they did, the processing times would come in. At the moment, we've got a 95,000 backlog in spouse applications, and we've got some muppet in the department planning that we're only going to get 40,000 this year, when last year we had 53 or something. So if they actually had realistic plans, then we'd have realistic staffing and these numbers would drop, right? But they're not manipulating the processing times. They're just telling you the average time that it's taking, which is a factor of how many staff they have. G'day, Herbie Nick. Any information for Australian citizenship by descent? So, well, if you got your parents' citizenship documentation, then you can apply for citizenship by descent. I don't think we do it from grandparents anymore. I think it's just parents. I could be wrong, but generally speaking, as long as your parent. I had one interesting case the other day. I don't know what happened to it actually, but they fell through the cracks. He was a citizen and he left, and then he lost his citizenship and he came back and he got it. And in the meantime, he had a child, and they thought the child was a citizen, and the child had a passport at one stage, I think, and then they found out that he wasn't and the kid wasn't. So the kid lost his passport and blah, 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 a nightmare. But generally speaking, when the child's born, when your child's born overseas, then you can apply for citizenship by descent, which doesn't take too long, but I think it's about $500. It's a bit outrageous. And then you got to apply for a child's passport. Well, my passport was $500 as well. So you have a child, and then whack, you get hit by $1,000 from Passports Australia and the Department of Homeland Affairs, just so you can bring your child back into the country. It's pretty. It's hard. It's more expensive to get citizenship than it is to register your birth. That's just completely outrageous. What can I say? Harry, how long? 190s are taking 2 years. Please stop asking me about 190s, right? It's a 2-year visa, so it's not worth having. So you're better off get a work visa. If you're a tradie and you can't get a job, you're in the wrong country. So yeah. Mina Tino, how to be there in Australian sponsorship. Sir, I need work. Well, I'm not a recruiter, at least not at the moment, so I can't help you find a job. Get onto seek.com.au, see how you go. Sandra, download Aussie Visa Mate, and you will be kept up to date. 186 transitions are taking 14 months to 18 months. It's the last day of the month. These figures are going to change imminently. Maybe tonight. Bua is interested with a little interested. So, Harry, are they granting construction more faster? In some instances, I'm not exactly sure. The 482, they brought out like a ministerial direction, and then it got overturned, and then there was another one, and I'm not sure if they are or they aren't at this point in time. But look, it doesn't matter what the processing time is, right? If you can get a visa, apply for it, right? But apply for one that's going to be granted in finite time. If you've got a work visa, it's the fastest way to get here. So, yes. Why does that keep? It's driving me insane, that. Anyway. How much is the lodging fee if you transition for 300 to 820? I looked it up yesterday. I think it was $1,545. It's about $1,500. So, just having my my shake, my shaker shake, protein shake, dropping the weight. I didn't weigh myself last week, but I could be under 80 kilos, which would be the first time in 30 years. It's pretty good. Anyway, on a 309 and was invited in January for a 100, but partner won't do the paperwork I need. So is it your former partner? So maybe oh God. Well, don't have a fight and end up in a domestic violence situation, because that would see you get your visa granted, right? So yes, it's a very stupid partner. What can I say? Anyway, you don't want to get it. You want to look at other options, basically. Either get them to fill in the paperwork, or make a different form of application. Phoenix Power, drop me a DM, R2KKF, and I'll explain it to you. Din, how about de facto onshore? Well, if you're living together for 12 months or you register your relationship, then you are a de facto for spouse visa applications. Got to be living together, got to be in a relationship, and then there's like these 4 tests of like social and financial and all this kind of stuff, family and future plans and blah, blah, blah. So there's a fair bit of documentation to do for a spouse visa, but the threshold that you can apply is that you're either married or you've registered your relationship. If you don't have either of those things, then you must live together for 12 months. And in any case, you've got to be living together, or at least you don't live apart on a permanent basis. So you can't do a solid for your ex and say, oh yeah, we've been together, but we've broken up, but I'll bring you back. I'll bring you into Australia because, you've been good to me. That never happens, right? But you can be temporarily separated because one of you's got a job in interstate, one of you studies interstate or overseas. A lot of arranged marriages, they haven't lived together back in wherever, Pakistan or China or wherever it is. And, they haven't lived together, but they intend to live together as soon as they get their visa. They're going to live in Australia. So that's the situation there. Durba is working as a casual as a painter, and from Nepal, can I apply for 482 after 1 year? Well, casual is like a status. It's not a... It doesn't mean anything. You need to work at least 20 hours a week. It doesn't matter if it's casual or if it's part-time. You need to work 20 hours a week. So if you're working 38 hours a week and you're casual, that'll still count, but that'll be a full-time week. So the award probably says 38 hours, because I think most modern awards do say 38 hours is a standard week. So if you've got 38 hours or whatever's normal for your work environment, if you've got some sort of industrial agreement that says 37 and a half or 36 or 32 or 10 days on and 10 days off, whatever full-time is in your workplace, you need to use full-time for 482. If you've got part-time, 20 hours or more, if you've got less than 20 hours, it won't count at all. 20 hours or more, then you need 2 years, because it's full-time equivalent for a 482 visa. Thanks from Naresh. Tina Mahajan, how long it takes to approve aged care labour agreement after signing an MOU with... I don't know, I haven't done one. Um, I, I, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the process is, like who it has to go to and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Sorry, can't help with that one. We've done Rohit. 309. I've already explained why spouse applications are taking so long. We're getting too many. Oops. If you want to take a drink, you've got to take the lid off. Processing time for the 407 is 8 to 10 months, and you can download Aussie Visa, mate. You get access to the toolkit, processing times, points test, English scores, video tutorials. Now, if you're on a 309, you want to go visit your partner, check out my tourist visa processing. If you've lodged a spouse application, check out spouse visa priority processing. Try and get to the front of the queue if you're eligible. And if you're going to have a little kid and you want your parents to come and help, 870 sponsored parent visa is your solution. So you can check out my 3 videos there. They would help you out. That's all in the toolkit, which is, if you download the app, Aussie Visa, mate, avm.dragonmigration.com. There it is on the screen. Hang on. Good day for Spiro. Spiro. I went to school with a kid called Spiro. He was Greek. J Sal TV for 482. What do you want to know? What do you want to know, Jay? The processing time is 3 to 5 months. I don't know what else you want to do. Current. Following's free. Anyone can follow the host. Do that. Get my thing back up. That's good. 48 followers. If you're not following's free. Get into it. Chowdhury, what happened if the applicant filed divorce after getting provisional visa grant? So you're leaving the country unless you've got a child. If you've got a child with a relationship, or you'll be staying, or if there's domestic violence, then you can make a domestic violence provision, which are overly generous provisions that allow people to stay in Australia once they've moved here with a partner. Food, I don't know when the allocations are opening, but certainly in October, or the year's going to be gone. Angel, will I have problems when applying for PR if we've done you? TJ, is it possible to apply for a partner visa onshore while you're waiting for ART appeal result? So, it's possible. Pretty much you can always apply for a partner visa. There's some sort of little niche-y times when you can't. But if you do it onshore, you'll probably need, and you're on a bridging visa, you'll probably need to meet Schedule 3 requirements, which you won't be able to do. So you'll need to get what's called a Schedule 3 waiver. And the test of that is there are compelling reasons. And the department says, well, you can apply for this visa offshore. Why should we let you apply for it onshore? And compelling reasons are, the 2 main ones are that you have been in a long-term relationship, so you're already in an established relationship with your partner, or you've got children. That one's like a lay down misère. They'll grant you the waiver if you've got a child. And then there's other sort of compelling reasons. It's really not a very high bar, but you need to usually you need to show something. The department says you need to show something which is circumstances beyond your control, which has contributed to the situation. So, like if your partner's been in a car accident and needs to be cared for instance, if there's some sort of situation which has occurred, which means that you have to stay, then that's it. But things like financial things are a little bit dodgy, because like you've entered into a loan, like for a car or for a house, for instance. You might need both people's salaries to pay, but you entered into that voluntarily. So you can't sort of create these situations, whether you deliberately did it or not. The RBA is worried about inflation. Of course they are. They're looking around the world and seeing inflation going up everywhere. Yes, and certainly in Australia, it's at the top end. Interest rates are not coming down. Okay, so we've done that. ART. So you need that waiver, Jay. Drop me a DM. I can help you out with that if you need one. Chris, good morning. You're a driver in the UK. You're 47 though, so you need to be in a Dharma. You need to be in a Dharma region anyway, because that's the only reason where truck drivers can get a work visa. But if you go to Western Australia, if you go to the Northern Territory, you're going to be driving long distances to get these kind of jobs. But as long as you apply before you're 55, you need to be sponsored, all that kind of stuff. Chris, you can go to the link in my bio, put in your email address. It'll send you an information sheet. It's 2 pages long. It tells you what the stages are, what it's going to cost you, how long it's going to take. It's got a lot of information there. I can't help you at the moment. I can't help you find a job, but I'm gonna look into that. I've got like 260,000 views on that video. It was just my end of the week Friday video because truck driving was at the top of the list, and now I'm inundated with truck drivers wanting to come to Australia. I think I could single-handedly fix the truck driver shortage in Australia with the responses I've got. It's just amazing how many people would come here to drive trucks. But it's not like they're not, you're not going to be driving from the warehouse down to Woolworths delivering food or anything. It's like long haul stuff is what they need the truck drivers for. So you may not know this, Kiss Expert. There you go. Good to see you. Processing time skills down 3 to 5 months. Will it be easy as a brickie to get PR? If it's on the list, bricklayer is on the list. 60 points. It's on the CSOL. If you get sponsors as a bricklayer, it'd be easy for you to get. Right? If you get a job, you'll be there. If you're British and you've got an age exemption, you're in, Becky. Easy. Ahmed, we've done you. Rabin, what about IT points in regional? Look, if you're in IT, get a job, right? Forget about points. You need a job, right? Forget about points in regional cities. Take a job anywhere and get on a 482. That's all I can tell you to do, right? It's not worth applying, going out to these regional areas. Even if you've got a job out there, the pay is going to be terrible and you're going to have no work experience that's going to be worth anything for the rest of your life, right? So go and find a job in IT, in a big company, and get them to sponsor you, right? I did IT recruitment for 12 years. Do not go out to regional New South Wales and look for work in IT, right? It's not good, right? Ugh. George, your 482 nomination, it's abnormal that it's taking 10 months. I don't know why. That's about the business. It's not about you. So maybe there's some question about whether or not they need that job, or I don't know, but it's certainly abnormal. Kingley has followed me. Following's free, people. Follow away. Mel, if you'd like to apply just for truck roll jobs, then just link in my bio. There's a form there. Put in your email. Away you go. You'll get it straight away. Garima, how about someone having 80 points? You've got no chance, right? There's 6,800 ECT people. 85 is the cutoff. 350 to 400 new applicants every month as they roll off and keep graduating. I read a thing the other day that we're 25,000 ECT teachers short in Australia. There's 8,500 jobs listed on Seek, and people keep telling me they can't find work or they can't find a sponsor. I just cannot believe it. But if you get into a regional area, yeah, sure. There's lots of competition in Melbourne and Sydney, obviously, but go to a regional area. You need sponsorship. You're not going to get there with points. Check 190 out, please. Sumil, you can download my app. We've done 190s. We're talking spouse visas. So we've done Sumil. If working as a casual ECT Victoria, not doing EC duties, but payslip says casual teacher. Well, it doesn't matter what casual doesn't mean anything, right? It's just like part of the title. It just means that you're not getting paid for annual leave, right? You're getting a 25% loading on your salary to compensate you. So if someone is earning $20 full time or $25 casual. So you can be a casual full time, you can be a casual part time, or you can just be casual. It just means that that you're getting paid more because you don't have the stability of employment, right? So to get work experience in all these calculations, you need at least 20 hours a week. Forget about if it's casual or not. If you're only working 1 day a week, then your casual and your work experience is nothing, right? If you're working casual part-time, 20 hours or more, then it's a half week. And if you're working 38 hours, casual or not, it's still 1 week full-time, right? Security specialists need jobs, I'm pretty sure. The app's name is Aussie Visa Mate, and the link is there, avm.dragonmigration.com, or you can type in Aussie Visa Mate in the App Store. The link will take you directly to the App Store page. No name, your explanation is amazing. Thank you for the effort. That's okay, I appreciate it. Oh God, this is what you get polite migrants and you get these like muppets with mullets going, oh, we're full, we've got no room. I mean, Jesus, they wouldn't be saying that if they're trying to get into a nursing home or trying to get a doctor or something like that. Talk about civil engineering, possibly get invited. There's no possibility of getting invited for 80 points for a civil engineer. They weren't invited last round. I think it was 100, wasn't it? Civil engineer. 85. We say the cutoff's going to be 90. There's 9,300. So, no chance. You need a job. As a civil engineer, you need a job. There's thousands of jobs for civil engineers, so you should get there. G'day, Road Warrior. Security, you need a job. Garima, I'm doing around 30 hours a week. Would it help for 190 Victoria once it opens for ECT? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I think Victoria, they want to know what your salary is. Victoria doesn't have a list, so they'll look at anyone who's on the STL and the MTL and regionally the ROL, all these acronyms. So you could get an offer from Victoria, but I don't know what the cutoff would be. And Victoria did 141, so you could get one. Most like, I keep saying this, but like most of the states require you to be employed at least for a period and living in the state for a period of time between 6, 9, 12 months. Some of them it's even 2 and 3 years. I think Northern Territory states much of. I think it said 3 years. I was like, you're joking. You should be given citizenship if you live in the Northern Territory for 3 years. Nothing against those Northern Territories. They're not Northern Territorians. can we know how many registered nurses, 75 points, are waiting for South Australia? Well, we don't know. I'm doing an update to the app so that I'm going to say how many people are registered for each state. So you'll be able to see, but we don't get the point information from the states unless the states actually provide it. Yeah, so I can't tell you what the points are, but you basically go off the registered nurse, not elsewhere classified. So you go off what the 189 score was, which was 80. So you need 75 in the state, but I can't tell you how many people are at that level. So, yes. South Australia only did 66 offers. Again, you still need to meet all the criteria. I've built in the toolkit, I've built a state sponsorship wizard, so you can type in your occupation and your points, and it will tell you whether we think you will get, whether you're eligible and whether we think you'll be successful or not. But it's very rough. Anointed child Jack is a truck driver in Italy. So truck drivers need to go to my bio, fill in the form and get the information sheet. But it lags a lot. I don't know why. Well, it's downloading all the data the first time. There's a fair bit. It shouldn't. Once it's downloaded, it'll be on your phone. So it won't be slow after that. But the first time it might take, I don't know, 6 to 10 seconds. There's a fair bit of data. But apart from that, it should be good. And if you've got the app, well, you're going to look it up. Jess, I'm about to be finished on my Masters in Teaching Early Childhood. Is applying 18919491 easy? Well, I don't know if easy is a way to describe it. You need to get 85 points. If you don't have 85 points, don't apply. You really need a job. And I don't know what state you finished in. You should be looking at my state, this state sponsorship wizard, to find out which states, if your state will actually sponsor you, or if there's a student pathway for you. But if you got a job in early childhood, then that is the pathway for you. Can you show chef in Queensland? Chefs. Oh, wrong place. In the VIP section, chefs. We can't show Queensland. Queensland, they only do onshore. They don't do offshore. No offers for GSM. So the states, Queensland took none last year. They've only got 600 places. If you're a chef in Queensland, you need to find work in Queensland. So, and I know you can find. Because I teach English. I had a young Thai guy. He's like 25, 26. He went to Cairns, and he would barely have made IELTS 5, so he would have just had the English required to get a visa, and he was in Cairns for less than a week, and he had two job offers at 5-star hotels working in their kitchens. So definitely there are chef jobs out there. How do I find this link? In my bio, up here, where the little Sensible Centre icon is, you go there, and you look up my bio, and then down here it says link in bio. Click on that link, and it goes through to there, and then the top one says truck driver registration. Fill that form in, get the information sheet, and you're away. Shannon on the skills list. The skills list really mean nothing. If you're on the CSOL core skills occupation list, that's so you can get 186 direct entry or a work visa, right? Skills in demand work visa. But all these other ones, the the 189 list, the 190 list. Just because you're on the list doesn't mean you're going to get an offer, right? There's 16,900 places. There's 10,000 places left this year. There's over 200,000 applicants, so you've got like a 5% chance. So it's and a lot of the occupations are never going to be offered. They're on the list because of, you know, political reasons or lobby groups. You know, the Hotel Association, massive lobby group. They're going to say we always need cooks and chefs. So cooks and chefs are probably always going to be on the list. It doesn't mean the state's going to invite anyone. The state's going, well, we don't need bloody cooks. We need construction workers. We're trying to build, you know, solar farms. We need electricians, and we've got mining going on, and we need roads and hospitals and schools for all these migrants that we're bringing in. We need construction workers. So you don't see. Look, if Anthony Albanese gets up and says, look, we've got a real shortage of chefs and cooks, sure, apply, right? But at the moment, and for the last 12 months, all he's been talking about is, we need more skilled workers, and we need construction. We've got to build. Oh, we're so far behind. Blah 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 blah. Right. So if the boss ain't saying we need you, we don't need you. Right. You need to find your own way, and that's through employment. So if you get a job, someone else says they need you. Right. Your employer's sponsoring you. You're in. Wizzy, I want to leave my current sponsor to a new one. What will happen if I reach the 2-year requirement? So if you're on a 482 and you've got your 2 years, your next employer can do a 186 temporary residence transition for you, right? There's no requirement, at least anymore, there's no requirement now that your sponsor is the person, your current sponsor is the person who nominates you. You must have had the 482 for 2 of the last 3 years. So if you finish work and it takes you 6 months to find a job, that's fine. If it takes you 12 months to find a job, or 13 months, well, you'll no longer be eligible. You have to go back to a 482, right? If you've got a 482 that goes for 4 years, then you'll need to get the nomination transferred across before you can do the ENS, because you can't work for your new boss because the processing time is 12 months, right? So you need to do the nomination. So if you're in that situation, Wizzy, drop me a DM. I can run it through with you. If you need an agent, I can do that. And send me an email or book an appointment. I'll step you through the process. When is the quota for state releasing, and what might be Victoria ROI criteria? Well, I've got for you username 001. I need two crystal balls. So my first crystal ball says I don't know when Victoria is releasing the state, or anyone's releasing their state details. And what could the criteria be? I don't know that one either. Both of my crystal balls are murky. I do not know. The app is Aussie Visa Mate. It's on the screen. You can see it, and the URL's the top one there. AVM for Aussie Visa Mate. dragonmigration.com. That's my recruitment business. And if you click on that link, it'll take you straight to the App Store, and you can download the app. Ryan, do you think it's feasible for me to apply for a partner visa without an agent, or is that dumb? It sort of depends, right? If you've got a criminal record, if your partner has a child from a previous relationship, if someone's been unlawful, if someone's got a health, if anything's unusual, you should use an agent, right? If one or both of you speak the King's English and you can read a form and you don't have problems completing things, then yeah, you can probably do it yourself. But if you find yourself asking yourself questions like, how do I prove the nature of my household, which is the common one that no one knows how to do, then you probably want to use an agent, because you're just going to get really frustrated. If you want to do it quickly, then get an agent. The agent will say, give me these documents. This is what I do. I say, here's all the documents, give me all that. When you give it to me, I'll say what's missing, what we need, all the rest of it. And you know, like I charge $3,000. In Sydney, apparently the average price is $5,000. The Mara or the Omara, whatever the fuck they're called, they used to have a list of what migration agents charged for each of the services. I couldn't find it last time I went, but anyway, it was there 12 months ago, but I couldn't find it last time I went. But anyway, that's sort of, indicative of what you'll pay. If you've got a complex case, use an agent. If you don't have a complex case, you might be able to do it yourself. But if you use an agent, you can probably get it done in one Saturday. If you do it yourself, you might lose 2 weekends. You might be better off spending that time with your partner. Who knows? It just depends on your financial situation, obviously, and the risk, etc., etc., etc. If you find yourself arguing with your partner, get an agent, right? Because then you can say, well, the agent said this is what we need, get it, right? Yes. G'day from HR. Shh. Night of the Angel followed. Following is free, of course. Reckless. I'm in Gosford. 2250 is the postcode for Gosford. Just got my roll only under 65 points. What will be? Oh, just got registered nurse roll, RN. God, I got my glasses and I couldn't read it. Only under 65, what will be the option? So you want to get sponsored by your employer as a registered nurse. I think that's your option, your best option. How about New South Wales Pathway 1? Is it coming back? I don't know. We don't know. Got some roses and a finger bun. Thank you very much. Roses and finger buns are well liked. Our likes, we only got 2.3 thousand likes. Only got 18 roses, so we're trying to get to 50. What is the pathway if 482 call list is changed? Well, Dharma, if it's still an occupation, if it's a high paid job, more than 141,000, there's no list in the specialist stream, right? Anyone getting paid over 141,000 can get a work visa. And if it's a low paid job, like an aged care worker or any of those sort of care economy things, there's industry labour agreements for them. So low paid jobs, high paid jobs, there's I don't know why they just don't have one bloody stream and get rid of all these lists and just say, if someone will sponsor you, you can come to Australia. It'd make life a lot easier. But if it's removed from the call list, then sure. The thing is, if you're worried about that, if you think you're going to be removed from the call list, make your application now, because there's no list for the 186 186 transition. So once you've got your 482 visa, in fact, you don't even have to have it. Once you've applied for your 482 visa, they can do whatever they want to the CSOL, and you're still going to get PR. All you've got to do is make sure you get IELTS 6, right? So if you lodge before they change it, you're in processing, and it's like at the time of application, your occupation was on the CSOL. It was, right? And then when you get 2 years down the track, you go for your 186 temporary residence transition. It says, have you held a 482 visa for the last 2 years? And you go, yes. And it says, is your nominated occupation for the 186 the same as or close related to your 482 occupation? And you go, yes. Yes. Permanent residence granted. You're in, right? So if you think it's going to change, make an application. Retail manager is out. I just saw I think it's Grapal. I should figure out what his name is again. But anyway, Grow More Immigration. He just did on TikTok. Lovely guy. He did a TikTok on a retail manager that he got in a regional area. It was a service station. Only 5 staff, he said. 4 or 5 staff. He talks a lot in Hindu, so I couldn't follow all of it because I don't speak Hindu. But some of it is in English, and so I was able to do that. So it's sort of like retail manager, Hindu, 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 4 staff, Hindu, Hindu, Hindu. So, but anyway, he's a nice guy. Grow more immigration. He's got a big following on YouTube because of I assume he's Indian, and of course India doesn't have access to TikTok. So yes. Anyway, check that out. Ryan, no worries, Ryan. Always happy to help. Simone, what about pizza makers? The pizza. What about the pizza? I'm in Lygon Street. Or what's this? What's the? It's now even Lygon Street is a fraction of what it used to be when I went to Melbourne University, and I lived on Lygon Street. I literally lived a block from Lygon Street on Rathdown Street, right next to La Paquetta's, a Melbourne institution. Pizza makers, I don't know. No, not there. I don't. But yeah, there is cook ethnic cuisine and cook specialist ethnic cuisine. Maybe these are Dharma occupations. I don't know. Pizza would have to be an ethnic cuisine, wouldn't it? I don't know. It'd be funny to find out. Regional South Australia looks at both of those. And methods analyst must have ETH method, yes. But otherwise, pizza makers, I don't think so. You might need to look at a different, like cooks aren't. I don't know if cooks would be allowed for a pizza restaurant. They're not allowed. They're not allowed in takeaway restaurants and fast food joints. But having said that, there are in my list of job sponsors. I think there's like Hungry Jack's is listed for one of them. Might be for a retail manager. I don't know. What happened to 4824 chef? Well, I think it's still. Oh. Chef is still on the Seasol, so you're good if you got a job. So do you think accountant will be removed from the skills in demand list soon? I don't think so. I remember I don't know, 12 years ago when I was a registered agent and I lived in Australia, they did the Job Service Australia. They go, we're going to change the list, and then they put out an interim list, and accountants weren't on it, and everyone, and like an alphabetical order, they go, no, what's on this list? Where the fuck are accountants, right? And and there's this big uproar, and like every like international student studying accounting was going nuts, and all that had happened was that the industry body hadn't got back to Job Services Australia, and so they just had it on the maybe list, but it wasn't on the definite list, and people were shitting themselves. But it came through. Look, if you think it's going to be a problem, like I said, apply now, right? Like if you're eligible, I get people all the time asking me, look, I'm on my working holiday visa. I've got another 2 years to go. Do you think I should apply for a work visa? I'm like, if you've got a sponsor, take it. It's a better visa, right? You don't need to worry about moving left and right and all the rest of it. You can settle down, you can build friendships, and you working towards your PR, working towards your citizenship. What state have community worker on the list? If you download Aussie Visa, mate, you could find out. Community worker. So it's on the state lists. Let's have a look. It's on New South Wales. Oh, it's on all of them. Victoria doesn't have a list, but they didn't make any offers either. Western Australia, the ones you want to know are New South Wales, South Australia, and Western Australia. And for regional, the same. No, Victoria, New South Wales, Victoria, and Western Australia. So if you're a community worker, that's where you want to look, or anywhere where you can get a job as a community worker. Lucy, Environmental Health Officer, same sort of situation, part of the environment. I would say that no offers in the States. It's only on the 491s. That was the 491 list. It's useless, right? You need a job as an environmental health officer. Like what politician in their right mind would take the environment off the list, right? Like, I mean, every greenie, 40% of the voting populace would go nuts. We need more environmentalists, right? So it's always going to be on the list. But if they don't make an offer, they just go, oh, we couldn't find any good the scores were too low and right? So, yeah. Is the point system going to change this year? I think there is a high likelihood that it will change. There are senior sort of legal people and migration people saying that it's going to. I think Fox News is saying it's going to. Fox News is saying it's going to happen on Christmas Eve so that no one knows about it and no one can complain. And it'll be out of the news cycle by the time everyone gets back. But there's other people saying it's going to happen. It's part of the 10-year plan, so you can expect it's going to happen. The timing of it, I don't know. But what the smart, this is just me thinking smart. This is not the department thinking smart. But the smart thing to do would be to process 10,000 GSM applications in November so that you've used the whole allocation for the year, announce a new point system and give everyone 6 months to learn how it works, make expressions of interest and build up the database again. And then on the 1st of July next year, that's when they can start making offers for the new system. That would be the smart thing to do. But I said that last year and they didn't do it. So, but you know, if they're going to do it, that would be the smart way to do it. So, Anoop, my employer is doing a 407 visa now. How many days will it take for the application? You've got 1 month left. Well, if you lodge the application, you get a bridging visa. So just lodge it, right? You've got to lodge the visa to do, so he's got to lodge this, I don't know, I've never done a 407. So he's got to be a sponsor. I assume he's got to nominate you and do a visa. I could be wrong about that. But you only get a bridging visa when you lodge the visa. So that I'm 100% sure about. So you just need to lodge the visa, and then you get a bridging visa, and then you can start your training now. But you can start your training. It's an 8 to 10 month wait. You start your training. Even if they reject it, you're going to have enough training to do a 482, and then you make a 482 application. V and J, we just did community workers. This was on earlier. I answered your question a while back. We're still trying to get 32 roses, people. We're trying to get to 50. Give it a rip-roaring run. John Boy wasn't someone's watching. What was that show? Little House on the Prairie. Good night, John Boy. Yeah. Oh, John Boy, can I go on a student visa and get my truck license there and get sponsored? Yes. Well, the thing is, you would need to you can get your truck license to get sponsored. If you study the Cert 2 in automotive something or other, or driving instruction or something like that, if you do the Cert 2 on your student visa, then that will get you the license and the skills assessment, but you'll still need 12 months work experience in order to be eligible. If you've already got 3 years, thanks John Boy for helping out with the roses and this, appreciate that. It's only 30 cents, and we only need a quarter. We got 25 roses to go. We got a quarter. So who's got a quarter in their pocket that can toss in some roses? And what I say to, like, if you've got 3 years truck driving experience in your country, then you don't need to study it. You can just do the skills assessment off your work experience, and you've got 12 months for the visa requirement. So, but if you don't have a license, well, you can get the license and everything, but you'll still be short 12 months. So, if you came here doing your degree, for instance, and you got a 3-year visa, and then a part of that, you decided to do, to get your truck driving license and drive trucks, well, you might be able to build up. It might be hard to study at the same time. Might be a bad example, but you might be able to get some truck driving experience as part of a longer student visa, or even if you graduate and get a 485 visa, you could be a truck driver for 12 months out of your 18 months, and away you go, right? Harry, 95 points as a motor mechanic. Well, I think motor mechanics, I think you... Oh, motor mechanics, that's for regional. Motor mechanics weren't offered in the last round, but it was 85 before that. If we do a big round of 10,000, I'd be surprised if motor mechanics weren't offered. And if you've got 95 points, you're looking good. But the states, New South Wales was offering over 100, so was Tasmania. So you could be good. You should be good for state sponsorship, but the problem with the state sponsorship, it's going to take 2 years to process, right? So, yeah, John Boy sent another rose. Appreciate that. Lambretta, I've already got a permanent visa for Australia and New Zealand. Good on you. Congratulations. You should be getting citizenship. If you meet the residence requirement. Okay. How are we going? Anyone else? 34 people. It's free to follow. Everyone should be following if you're here. Angeline, medical laboratory science, 85 points. Is it on a list for a state? Medical, I think you need a job, right? Medical radiation, no. Medical, what is the occupation? Medical laboratory. Tech, scientist, there you are. It's on a list, no offers in any of the states or the regions. So that's one of those ones where it's on the list, but they're not sending out offers for you. So you need a job. Angeline, Saraswati, I'm in Queensland working as a community worker, but they don't have on the list now. Don't know what to do. Well, community worker, is it on the CSOL or has it been taken off? Community worker. It's on the CSOL. They can sponsor you on a 482 visa. Give that a go. We've done Harry. Motor mechanic invite chances Victoria. Man 03. Well, we just did motor mechanics. You need 85 or 90 points. People like Harry are going to be in front of you, and in Victoria you'll need work and all the other requirements. If you've got a job and you're living in Victoria, then get sponsored. Yeah. Amir, I'm doing well. I've been talking for 100 minutes now, or 100 minutes in 2 minutes time, for 98 minutes, doing pretty well. My shake is getting slowly drunk. Reckless, 65 points, registered at acute care, New South Wales Regional. Oh, man. And they don't want to sponsor you? Really? Acute care. Is that critical care? Aged care. Critical care. I'll say it's critical care and emergency because it sounds like it is. It's on the list. You need 80 points. Regional. New South Wales, 23 offers. If it was 80 points, you'd need 65. You might get there. You might get there. As you can see, they're currently closed is the status. Carpentry. Carpentry is carpenters. Oops. 65 points, and it's on the CSOL. If you get a job as a carpenter, you can come to Australia and you can work as a carpenter. To be a builder, you need to get licensed. The thing with all the trades is you can't be on a tax. You have to be on a tax fund number. You can't be on an ABN. You can't be a subcontractor. You need to be directly employed by the business. So if you're talking to a builder and the builder says, "Oh, I've got 8 weeks here and I've got 4 weeks here," you need a company that's going to employ you full time. So if you're a set builder, you get up to the Gold Coast, go to Warner Brothers Studios, and you can go in and build sets all the time. Or in Sydney, at it's Disney Studios now. It used to be Fox Studios, but of course, a couple of years ago, Disney got a sweetheart deal picking that up because they pay almost no rent on the property there because it was a sweetheart deal for Rupert. So anyway, Amir, you need to go to the link in my profile and enter in your email address, and you'll be sent the information kit and be kept up to date with what's going on the summation of an 801 visa. You can, if you're on an 820, you can travel overseas, Andrew. The 801 can be granted while you're onshore or offshore. So the thing is, you should always let the department know how to contact you. So make sure they've got your email address and things like that, because if they've got any questions, they'll send you a RFI. If you've gone overseas for 3 months, you might not get it until after they've rejected your application because you haven't responded. So And once you've got your 801, where you're a permanent resident, you can go for your life. So, yeah. Lambretta, MedTech. Not quite sure what your question is. You got PR as a medical technician. Okay, well, that's good. Ali, can Afghan national apply for a skilled visa? Anyone can. But well, I don't know, when you say a skilled visa, I don't mean if you're in general skills migration or a sponsored work visa. But you can apply for a 189 if you're from Afghanistan. Yeah. Jamson boy, 70 points of painting and decorating. How long will it take? I don't know. Painting. You could download Aussie Visa, mate. There's just painting. Painting, 70 points. Do you have points? Yes. So if they make an offer, they made an offer last round. So November, you'll find out in November. The app is Aussie Visa, mate. It's the top line here in black, avm.dragonmigration.com. That'll take you directly to the App Store where you can download it, have all this information. It's about to be updated because it's the start of the month tomorrow, 1st of October. I'm currently a 407 training visa, but my employee, I don't know what happened to that. Don't know what happened to it. Anyway, username who keeps spamming, selected for a 186 sponsorship from my aged care, and I just got my student visa refusal today. Well, I'd book an appointment with me and I can have a look at you. If it's been refused, you're Section 48 barred. You will need to leave the country in order to make a visa application. So I assume you no longer that you're on a bridging visa. So I have my HR driver license, been running my own transport visas for 1 year now. I don't know if you are in Australia or overseas, but you can book an appointment with me to discuss if you're looking to get a visa to Australia, or you can just fill in the form and get information about coming to Australia. You'd need at least 3 years work experience to do it though. Nahi, what about welfare worker in outer regional? Welfare worker. Welfare worker. It's not on the CSOL, but it could be covered by a labour agreement. I don't know. If it's covered by a labour agreement, then you can still get sponsored. If you paid over $141,000, well, good luck to you. You could also be sponsored. But in the regional areas, I think it's one of those ones where it's listed and they're not giving any. Oh no, there you go. South Australia, Victoria and Western Australia took 20 to 50 people each. And in regional areas, South Australia, Victoria and Western Australia took about 25 each. So regional South Australia could be a chance. Analyst programmers they're not making offers to IT professions, so you need a job as an AP and get sponsored by your employer. The Garnin from South Africa. You're a certified plumber, a truck driver, and a handyman. How can I apply? Fill in the form, the link in my bio. It'll send you the requirements. The first thing you need to do is an English test, and given your spelling, you better do that first. See how you go. If you don't meet the English requirement, you won't be able to get a visa to Australia. Official governor. I'm a total PIC professional tanker driver in Nigeria with certificates to show what must I do. So go to the link in my bio, go to the link tree. At the top it says truck driver information. Click that, get an email. It'll tell you what it's going to cost, what the steps are, how long it's going to take, etc., etc. That's the process. Andrew says, I'm a legend. Thank you very much. Any expected date for the allocation? We have no, well, I would have said at the end of this month. I would have said at the end of last month, but certainly by the end of this month. I mean, it's just outrageous how long it's taking. People liking and sharing. Enrolled nurses, I think, need jobs. Sunny says hello. Truck drivers need to fill in the link in my bio. I think chemists need to be employed. Look, you might get there on the graduate pathway for Victoria, but what happened last year? Let's have a look. Chemist, states, no offers for Victoria. Regional, no offers. No, you need employment. So definitely need employment. So if you study in one location, you move somewhere else. Very few of the states, if any, will consider you a graduate. They're only rewarding graduates for studying in their location. So basically you need a job. You need to have 12 months experience, and you need a 482. So if you've finished your course and you can get on a 485 visa and you got a job, you get 12 months experience, just stay there and work there. Or if you get a job in Canberra, go there and work. But you need that 12 months experience, and you need preferably you want to stay in Canberra. Deary me, as I yawn. Systems analyst. I don't. You need a job. Systems analyst. You should have work. Systems analyst. New South Wales took 54 in regional areas. 75. So the points cut off was 95. Maybe with 80. We say that you need 100, so then you need 85. So maybe. Mian, high school from Pakistan. I don't know what that's for. Primary teacher in Queensland. I don't think. Let's have a look. Jesus. Let me spell. Primary school teacher. So no offers in the states. In Queensland it's listed, but there are no offers. New South Wales, Victoria and Western Australia. I think you need to be sponsored. If you've got my app, Aussie Visa Mate, and you go to the VIP section, the it's a who's who of primary schools around the country, pretty much in the Catholic system and the private system. So you can check that out. Is there any chance for pharmacists? I think pharmacy, you need to be employed. You're not in construction, medical, teaching, IT, or whatever the fifth one is. I can never remember all five. Sometimes health, or that's medical. Medical, construction, engineering was the fifth one. So yeah, pharmacist, and of course there's different types of pharmacists. There's industrial, there's retail, and there's hospital. So you would have to download the app and have a look. Secondary school teachers are graduating, so you'll get on your 485 visa. You'll be here for 18 months or 2 years, whatever it is. If you can get 12 months work experience as a secondary school teacher, you can be sponsored. Again, if you're a secondary teacher, it's a who's who of private schools, Catholics, the Catholic system, all the church systems, all of the private schools are there. King's College and King Copple, that's part of the Catholic system. And of course, as a secondary school teacher, it depends on what your specialty is. You know, you're a maths teacher, a science teacher, an English teacher, a music teacher, blah, 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 history, geography, etc. Harpreet, yes, I love Canberra. So I couldn't live in Canberra. I did a contract down there for 3 months, and and then I had enough. If ART remits our decision, what are the chances of getting student visas, and how long does it take? So if it's been so basically what happens is if you make a visa application and they go, we don't think you're a genuine student, and then you appeal, it goes to the ART. The ART doesn't decide whether or not you've got a student visa or not. They decide whether or not you are a genuine student, the reason that it was rejected in the first place. That's the only thing they're considering. And so when they remit it back to the department, it's a fancy word for sending it back to the department, telling them that, no, you are a genuine student. So you've won that part. But then the department can come back and say, well, you don't meet the financial requirement, or you don't meet some other criteria. You've got a criminal record now, or you've been working, when you shouldn't have been. So we're not going to give you a visa at all. The effect is, like in 95% of cases, there's just this one thing, right? But it doesn't mean that you're automatically going to get the visa. The ART can't grant you a visa. It can only tell the department that they got it wrong, and they have to reconsider the application again, but not consider the part that they got wrong, right? Because a higher being, the court, has decided that you've passed, right? And that can never be taken away, right? So it normally takes about 4 to 6 weeks to get sent back from the ART, and then the department's usually pretty good. Like the student visa processing is pretty fast now anyway. Well, it's not really fast, but it's pretty fast. You should go to the front of the queue because you made your application probably 3 years ago or something like that, right? So you'll get a case officer straight away, and it shouldn't take too long. You should get it before Christmas, for example. That's sort of the process, Sadnam. So I hope that helps. Following's free. Contract administrator. Someone was asking me about contract administrators the other day. I don't think, are they still on the list? They are. Okay. Contract administrators, no offers, but it's on the CSOL. So if you're a contract administrator, you can be sponsored by your employer. States are not, it's on the state list, but it's not being offered. Is there possibility for logistics specialists? No, I don't think. There might be. There used to be sales and distribution manager, and then there's logistic. Yeah, there's no logistics thing. It's more like there's warehouse manager and things like that. You need a different occupation title. Um, like as I said, distribution manager or sale. I don't know exactly what the occupation is for that, but check out Antsco, try and figure it out, or download the app and punch a couple in and figure it out. Any future in wall and floor tiling in New South Wales? Well, I'm sure there's plenty of walls and floors being built in New South Wales. Tiler, wall and floor tiler. It's on the list. You need 65 points, less than 50 applicants last year. In the States, Western Australia wanted some, and that's all. So you need to be sponsored. You need a work opportunity as a wall and floor tiler. Certainly not worth applying for state sponsorship in New South Wales. Meaning no opportunity for primary teachers in Queensland. No, you just need to go to the private sector. Then the government is not going to sponsor you because they've got plenty of primary teachers themselves. So you need to look at, you still need to be a registered teacher and all that kind of stuff, but you need to get employment sponsored through the independent schools or the Catholic system, or there's other religious schools too, but the Catholic system's by far the biggest, yeah. If I book a consultation, is it only for one time you take? If you book a consultation with me, I talk to you for up to an hour anyway, for as long as it takes, but up to an hour. And then I send you an email afterwards saying, these are the next steps, or you're eligible for this visa. This is what you need to do. If you qualify, then we can proceed, and then I can send you a client agreement, and you can make payments, and we can keep going. If you're sort of I'm pretty flexible, right? But you're not going to be getting. You'll be able to email me afterwards because you'll have my email address. But if you start talking about a student visa and then you start talking about and then you start asking questions about a work visa, well, you're off the track then, right? So you're going to have to either book another appointment to discuss what your new options are. I get people who go through 3 or 4 different options. They go, oh, I'm getting married, and they go, oh, gee, she left me, and oh God, and then now I need to know my work doesn't want to lose me, so can I get sponsored? And then they go, oh shit, I've got this new girlfriend, and oh, we're madly in love. How can we register our relationship? So it's like it's one appointment per visa class, right? That's what you need to do. But you can do follow-ups and things like that. Like the whole aim of the appointment is that you're moving on to make a visa application, right? But if you think that that you're going to pay for an appointment and I'm going to give you a checklist of documents and answer all your questions so you can lodge it yourself, well, you're wasting your time with that. So, yes. It's 6 o'clock and time's up. Any marine company sponsors? I'm not sure, Simon. I don't know about that one. But I do need to go because I've got a 10-year-old who wants to play Roblox with me. So diesel mechanics are in enormous demand. You should be able to get work here as long as you go to a regional area like farming, mining, road construction. Diesel mechanics are in enormous demand. What visa will I get if the government will not going to sponsor me? You'll still get a 482 work visa, Lizette. You'll get a work visa. It's just the sponsor won't be the government, it'll be the private enterprise. What's the money like in Australia as a driver? Doesn't match the cost of living. It's a good question. I suppose it depends where you are and what your cost of living are. I looked at Seek this morning, I think. The average wage for a truck driver was just over 80,000. And that's Australia-wide. You're not going to, these are regional jobs, so you're not going to be living in Melbourne and Sydney because they're Dharma agreements. I don't know. And Perth, I assume is quite expensive at the moment. You need to shop around. But if you're going to live in a regional centre, or if you're going to live in Darwin or I don't know other places, $80,000 would be sufficient. And if you're going to if you're going to do like mining work, you can earn $160,000 to $200,000 doing long haul work with them, and that's a very good wage. So even if you're living in Sydney, it's a good wage. So you need to shop around. You can't. It's a huge country. It's like me saying, you know, if I was to move to Europe, what a truck drivers get paid. You know, it's obviously going to depend on the kind of jobs that you're doing and whereabouts in Europe you're located. So yeah, forklift drivers. Northern Territory is where you want to go because that's where forklift drivers are on the Dharma. But you need at least 3 years experience. If you want to know more, then just fill in the truck driver form. It's basically the same process and cost. And if you're happy with those, you can book an appointment with me and I can run through what you need to do. English is not so good, must have English. What? Sunny, a halal slaughterman job. That's interesting. It's got to be under butcher, surely. Got to be under butcher. But my logistics guy, there's that supply and distribution manager question. If you're still watching, you should be looking at that. I think it'll be under butcher. Type in ANZSCO, ANZSCO, and it will, and type in, I don't know, slaughterman, and see what it comes up with. There's definitely jobs there because I know like piggeries and chicken farms and things like that. They're able to. There's either a labour agreement or you can get sponsored in any event. So just a matter of what the occupation is. I'm not sure. Juice Weird followed the host. Best option for you. You got to have English, right? Because even if you had IELTS 5, that'll get you a work visa. But to get permanent residence, you got to have IELTS 6. So you've got to have competent English. So if your English is not great, then you should study English and get your English up. Tunnel boring machine operators. Are you from the boring company? There's one of Elon Musk's bright ideas while he was partaking of some magic mushrooms or something. Whose works in Hong Kong can migrate to Australia. So there's a lot of operators' jobs listed. I don't know what a tunnel boring machine operator classifies as. Probably some sort of mining operator, I'd suggest. But I don't know. Oh, God. I don't know. Again, ANZSCO, ANZ, SCO. Type in the kind of machine that you're operating and see what it comes up with. And then download Aussie Visa, mate, and it will tell you. Is it easy to get sponsors for tunnel boring machine operators? I've got no idea. I do not profess to be an expert recruiter for TBM operators. You would need to go to seek.com.au, enter it in and see how you go. Sorry, Lizette, you might be eligible, but if they don't make offers, then you're not going to get one. So yeah, chances of enrolled nurse working in the field. If you're working in the field, get sponsored. That's the way to go. Aged care workers. How can you get in touch? You can DM me. You can email me. My email's on the screen right there. inquiries@dragonmigration.com. Sarah, are you answering random questions or specific to schools? I've just joined, so not sure. Well, there's a list of people asking me questions. I try and keep it to spouse visas today. I change the topic every day, but people just ask questions and I answer them. Reza, for Dharma, every Dharma agreement has got, it's either 5 as the minimum. Some of them have 4.5 with a minimum of 4. Every Dharma agreement's a separate agreement, so you need to know which agreement you're applying for. I'm not sure that there's an English test for the 191. So if you get on a 494 visa, you might get away with it. I'd have to look it up and find out. So food tech definitely needs to be employed. And the time is up. I've been talking for over 2 hours. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate your time, and I'll be back tomorrow from 7 until 9. If you've got questions, then you can DM me, you can email me. If you've got a tricky situation you want to find a real answer to, book an appointment, meeting.dragonmigration.com. It'll cost you, but it'll be worth it. The best things in life you have to pay for. So there you go.